Good evening. Welcome to the Underrated Sports Show with my brother and co-host D to the S to the 1. Subscribe to his channel, She Stays Sleep TV. We got a goodie for y'all. We're gonna talk about the late great DEACON Jones that helped revolutionize defensive end. So we're gonna get this stuff out the way. Welcome, family, for everything. Welcome. Subscribe to my channel, The Underrated Darkness. Right. Also, let's hit the bell when I come for a powerful live stream and video. Also, check out the other live streams and videos I did. All right, that's very much appreciated. Let's get them likes and the views up. We had a powerful live. I did a powerful live yesterday. Fellowship, the brothers and some sisters got into that. Want y'all to check that out. All right. Support yours truly, Jerry Thomas. Facebook page. Facebook group JT MVP. Thinking for ourselves. Twitter account all caps at JT Blackman 44. The Underrated Darkness. That's my Instagram account. I will be doing a live stream in November. Midterm lessons of our perspective. Want y'all to check that out. And that's it. I'm gonna say what's up to the brother. Good evening, my brother. How you doing?
Peace.
All right, okay. That's good. We're gonna get right to it. This is the late great David D. DEACON Jones. Was born December 9th, 1938. That's the same year my mom was born. June 3rd. He passed away June 3rd, 2013. And we'll knock this out real quick. Okay, then we're gonna have a panel, Okay. Like I said, David D. DEACON Jones was American football defensive end in the National Football League, NFL. For the Los Angeles Rams, San Diego Chargers, and the Washington Redskins. He was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1980. And he was number 65. Jones specialized in quarterback sacks, which he coined named Secretary of Defense. Jones considered one of the greatest defensive players ever. Los Angeles Times called Jones the most valuable Ram of all time. And former Redskin head coach George Allen called him the greatest defensive end of modern football. Early life, Jones was born in Edenville, Florida, and lived in a 4-bedroom house with his family of 10. Jones attended Hungerford High School, which he played football, baseball, and basketball. During high school, Jones developed a lump in his thigh and learned that it was a tumor. He had surgery to remove it. When he was 14 years old, he witnessed Carl They'd be scratching a lot of things. A carload of white teenagers laughed. They hit an elderly black church woman with a watermelon. The woman died days later from the injury, and there was never a police investigation. Unlikely, many black people then I was told were not to be what society said I was. Jones later recounted. Thank God I had the ability to play a violent game like football. It gave me an outlet for the anger of my heart. College career. Jones' college football career considered a year at South Carolina University in 1958, followed the year of inactive in 1959, and a final season at Mississippi Vocational College in 1960. South Carolina revoked Jones' scholarship after they learned that he participated in a protest during the civil rights movement, and that was going on a lot at that time. However, one of the assistant football coaches at South Carolina State was leaving to coach Mississippi Vocational and told Jones of some of the other African Americans that he would get them scholarships at the new school. While he was playing at Mississippi Vocational, he and his African teammates had to sleep in cots in the opposite team gym because motels would not take them on numerous occasions. Professional career. Jones was drafted in the 14th round of the 1961 NFL draft by the Los Angeles Rams. He earned a starter role as a defensive end and teamed with the tackle Merlin Alston. Now, Merlin Alston became, after he retired, he became an actor. And then he played in big roles like Little House on the Prairie and other pictures. But we know as him as playing Little House on the Prairie. You throw that in. To give Los Angeles a permanent all-pro left side of the defensive end, he became part of the fearsome four defensive line of the Rams, alongside with Lamar Lundy, Rosie Greer, and Olsen, which now considered to have been one of the best defensive lines of all time. Jones was consensus All-Pro honor 5 times, 5 straight years from 1965 through 69, and was second all-team All-Pro in 64 and 70 and 72. He was also in 7 straight Pro Bowls from 64 to 1970 and was selected to 8th after the 1972 with the San Diego Chargers. He was voted the team outstanding defensive lineman by the Los Angeles Rams alumni in 62, 64, 65, 66. In 71, Jones suffered a severe sprained arch, which caused him to miss 4 starts, and he ended a season with 4.5 sacks, his career low at this point. In 1972, Jones was included in a multi-player trade with the San Diego Chargers, where he was an instant success. He was named San Diego defensive captain and led all Chargers defensive linemen and tackles and won a berth on the AFC Pro Bowl squad. He concluded his career with the Washington Redskins in 1974. In the final game of his NFL career, the Redskins allowed him to kick the point after touchdown for the game last score. Along the way, Jones was named the Associated Press NFL Defensive Player of the Week 4 times. Week 14, 1967, Week 12, 1968, Week 11, 1969, and Week 10, 1970. As a street doable player, Jones missed only 6 games of a possible 196 seasons encounters of his 14 National Football League seasons. Sacks. Jones was considered a mini revolutionized position of defensive end. He was credited with the coin phrase sacking the quarterback. In 1999, Jones provided the LA Times report of some derail imaginary about his fault. You take all the offensive lines and put them in a burlap bag, and then you take the baseball bat and beat on the bag. You sack them. You bagged them. And that's what you doing with the quarterback. By separating Jones from every other defensive end, he was his speed and his ability to make tackles from sideline to sideline, which was unheard of his time. He was first Russian passer to use the head slap, a move that said was to give himself an initial head start on the pass rush. In other words, an extra step. Because anytime you go upside man's head or a woman, they may have the tendency to blink, they slick eyes, or close their eyes. And that's all I needed. That head slap was not in my invention, but it was Rembrandt. Of course, he did not invent painting. The quickness of my hands and the length of my arms, it was perfect for me. It was the greatest thing I ever did. When I left the game, they outlawed it. Pro Football Weekly report, he accumulated 173 sacks over his career, which would be third on all-time sack list. Jones would have ranked first all-time of his retirement, since they had surpassed two fellow Hall of Famers, Bruce Smith and Reggie White. In 1967, Jones had, I want y'all to listen to this because this is crazy. In 1967, Jones recorded 21 and a half sacks, only 14 games. He tailed 22 sacks in 14 games the following year. If official, that would have been stood at NFL record until Harvey Martin, 1977, which he totaled 23 sacks. The term sack has not yet been coined at the time, but official sack statistics was not recorded by the NFL until 1992. So that means that if they would coin that, he would have well over 200 sacks, family. So they show the unofficial record of sacks that he had. Okay, after football. Jones worked as a television actor, appearing in numerous TV programs since 1970. Most appeared in camera roles. He appeared in the episode of The Odd Couple, which he and Oscar was in the television commercial selling shea products. He appeared in The Brady Bunch and in the Bewitched episode in 1969. He played a guard to a giant castle in Sam and the Beanstalk. Jones also played himself in the episode Wonder Woman in 1978. In 1978, he played Viking named Thor the Norseman. Fellow Hall of Famer Fred Biletnikoff joined Jones in that film, and Biletnikoff at that time played with the Oakland Raiders. Need to throw that in. That same year, Jones portrayed a fierce defensive lineman named Gorman in the film Heaven Can't Wait. In the series G versus E, he played himself, but as an agent of the corps, he also played a role in the hit show Alf, which he played a father figure to Alf. Jones served as a color editor for the Rams broadcast on KMPC radio in the 1994 season, teamed with Steve Farkas and Jack Snow. Business. Jones worked for many companies, including the Miller Brewing Company, Hager Clothing, Pacific Coast Medical Enterprise, Absence America, and represented NFL champion products as a spokesman for their throwback campaign. Jones also was chairman of the Azenic Pharmaceutical in the National Hypertension Awareness Program. Community involvement. NFL.com report that Jones made several trips to Iraq to visit the U.S. military. Jones served as the president and CEO of the DEACON Jones Foundation, an organization that he founded in 1997 to assist young people in the communities which they had lived in a comprehensive programs that include education, mentoring, corporate internship, and community service. Bringing the NFL back to Los Angeles. Jones was one of many former LA Rams players who disliked the team controversially relocated to St. Louis in 1995. He was adamant in interviews and apparent to state that he played for Los Angeles, not St. Louis, and considered the Rams franchise there was a different team that would have different names, leaving the Rams name LA. He participated in many grassroots efforts to bring NFL football back to Los Angeles. Also, a voice supporter of many new stadium proposals. And the Rams eventually returned to Los Angeles 2016 after Jones died. He was elected to football. He was elected to the Football Hall of Fame in his first year eligibility in 1980 and was named the NFL 75th anniversary all-time team in 1994. In 1999, he was ranked number 13 of the Sporting News list of the 100 greatest football players, the highest ranked defensive end, and the second ranked defensive lineman behind Bob Lilly. Bob Lilly played at that time Dallas Cowboys. The same year, he was named Sports Illustrated Defensive End of the Century. 1980, elected to South Carolina Electric Hall of Fame. 1981, voted the Central Florida Sports Hall of Fame. 1983, elected to the Florida Sports Hall of Fame. 1999, recipient of the Gale Sayers Lifetime Spirit Award. 1999, recipient of the Gale Sayers Lifetime Spirit Award. 1999, awarded the Order of Leather Helmet by the NFL Alumni Organization, their highest honor. 2001, winner of the NFL Alumni Spirit Award for Community Service. 2005, recipient of the Julius C.R. Foundation Legends of the Year Award. 2007, named to the Florida High School Associated All-Century Team, which select the top 33 players in a 100-year history of high school football, Florida Hall of Fame history. 2009, his number 75 was retired by the Rams on September 27, 2009 at the Edward Jones Dome. 2013, an award for the league in sacks is named to his honor award the first time Robert Mathis of Indianapolis Colts was an inaugural award winner. Jones stated that he gave himself the nickname Deacon after joining the Rams because too many David Joneses were in local phone books. Football is a violent sport. Deacon had religious commentary. He told the Los Angeles Rams back in 1980, I thought a name like that would be remembered. Deacon Jones' wife, Elizabeth, is the chief operator of finance officer of the Deacon Jones Foundation, based in Anaheim Hills, California, the community in which the couple lived. Jones was a rhythm and blues singer during his football days and was backed by the band Night Shift, which later became a group. Wow. Jones sang on stage with Ray Charles, performed on the Hollywood Pilots in 1967 and 68 on the Merv Griffin Show. 1970, Jones was inspired by the name of the 1977 song Deacon Blues by Steely Dan. And I'm going to touch on that when I form the panel. On June 3rd, 2013, Jones died at 74 of a natural cause of suffering from lung cancer and heart disease at his home, Anaheim Hills, California. Jones' death left Rosie Greer as the last surviving member of the fearsome four, the LA Rams defensive line, which widely considered the best such unit in history of the NFL. On the former defensive standout, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell said, even with his fellow Hall of Famers, Deacon Jones held a special status. He was an icon among the icons. While the Redskins General Manager Bruce Allen, the son of Jones' longtime coach George Allen, called him one of the greatest players in NFL history. On off the field, a true giant. A Sports Illustrated columnist Peter King noted that his death, Jones, had a profound effect on the way defense was played in the NFL, and cite the influence of such later NFL stars as Lawrence Taylor, Deion Sanders, Michael Strahan. As a contribution to Jones, the NFL created the Deacon Jones Award, which would give annually to the league leaders in sacks. So, brother, here you go. The late, great Deacon Jones.
Well, it's good to know more about the brother. When I was young and I started watching football, my dad, he used to always tell me about Deacon Jones.
Mm.
He used to always tell me about him. Say how mean he was on the field. You know, like he used to scare people. My pops used to tell me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like people were scared to look in his helmet. That's how fierce he was. That's how vicious he was. And you know, I'm a Green Bay fan, so I grew up liking Reggie White. And my pops used to be like, man, Reggie White was like a puppy compared to Deacon Jones on that field, man. So, you know, it was good to hit. And I didn't know he passed away. And damn, it's been so long. I didn't know he passed away either. So, you know, thanks for that, bro. But definitely, man, he definitely was one of the greatest defensive players ever. That's always been said anyway. Like they compared all of the top defensive guys to Deacon Jones. Michael Strahan, Lawrence Taylor, um, Reggie White. But they said that those guys, they got a lot of sacks and they were unstoppable, but they didn't play the game like Deacon did. They said Deacon Jones was like I said, people were scared of him on the field. Scared to look in his helmet because he had a scary looking face too. He looked scary.
Yeah.
Like it's not like he was trying to make people scared of him. That was his natural look. He was just a ferocious guy on the field. So you know that's good for football season and for us to learn about, man. So salute to you, man.
Thanks a lot. We're gonna stay on here a few minutes and close it out. Ray, I send the link to you. See you can come by. See you can come. I don't know you're there or not. Well, for me, um, for Deacon Jones, for me, it's like a lot of people understand that he was very strong. The way he run the sideline, and he was quick. A lot of people say he was quick, but he was strong. And also, he also developed a lot of moves too that I always noticed, like the arm slot. That you know how the offensive line have their arms up. He used to go and hit the elbow and go around that. He helped prevent that too. And his best year, I mean, he only had best year in second, but the best years he had was 67 and 68. They won, I think 67, he had 23 and a half sacks. And I think in 70, I mean 67 and 68, he had like 25. And that included the playoffs too, family. And that was unheard of. They did not coin the sack then. So picture if they would have coined the sack, I said about maybe 2 years prior to that, it was telling how many sacks that Deacon Jones would have had. Not even Reggie White or the rest of them could not catch him. And then Rosie Greer, you know, everybody know the Rosie Greer, the actor and stuff like that. And then you got Marlon Olsen and the other guy. So, and each of them throughout their career, I think two of them had over 100 sacks, and I think one of them came on close to 100. But their problem was they never really have an offense, and that was the problem, you know. for that and everything. So I like Deacon Jones on Ray Zone. I see you the link. See you gonna come. But we could learn from Lawrence Taylor, like you said, Reggie White. Let me ask you a question, brother. Which defensive end remind you of Deacon Jones?
I'm gonna say the closest. Reggie White was my man, but I gotta say Lawrence Taylor
Mm-hmm.
because people was really scared of him.
Yeah.
Like quarterbacks, he had quarterbacks afraid of him.
Mm-hmm.
And remember what he did to that quarterback? Who was it? Joe Theismann when he broke his leg.
Snap his leg in half.
Yeah, that was Joe Theismann, right?
Well, died on the Redskins, yes.
Yeah, he had quarterbacks really afraid of him. So I'm gonna have to go with him. And then I'm gonna say after that, it had to be Strahan. But Strahan was a nice guy, man. Deacon really wasn't a nice guy.
He was,
You know what I'm saying?
he was a
He
nice
really
man.
wasn't a nice guy.
That's the person that you want on your team.
Right, exactly. And Reggie White, see, what I liked about Reggie White was he was fierce. He was fierce on the field, but off the field, he was like a puppy dog.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He was a church guy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, Reggie White died down here in North Carolina.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think he was a reverend or a pastor, either one.
Minister, certified.
Mm-hmm. He was a nice dude.
Yeah. Did a lot for the community too. And I remember when he was with the Eagles, Philadelphia Eagles back then. I'm talking about in the mid-90s with Jerome Brown, he took his life. That was his best friend. And his speech alone, it shook him up. It shook us up. And he said, I just missed my face. You see he was crying because that was his best friend. Did he commit suicide? I think Jerome Brown did commit suicide. And then at that time, I forgot the other two. Back at that time, the Philadelphia Eagles, they was considered like the second coming of the LA Rams back in the 60s. I forgot it's him, Jerome Brown, is somebody's other two, but they considered the best of that league at that time. You know, they used to, oh my God, they used to murder quarterbacks, but it was not like back then, like in the 60s, because in the 60s, so you could take a shoot, you could take a quarterback and clothesline him or something. You could bend him up, you could do what you want and stuff. So
yeah, back then they definitely the game was definitely much more rugged. Cause my dad, he used to play football.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I was a baby, like my pops and them, like back then, you ever heard of Cold Crush?
Yeah.
My pops used to play for them.
What? Okay.
Yeah. He used to play for them. I think he was number 100, if I'm not mistaken. But he played defense and offense. He played on the line. And my pops used to always tell me, back then, like it wasn't just one person tackling you.
Mm-hmm.
Like one dude to hit you, and then they'll hold him up and let everybody come and smack his ass.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying back then. Like did he play like in the 50s?
Nah, my dad played in the 80s.
Oh, in the 80s. Oh,
In the late 80s, early 90s.
Oh
Because
yeah.
I was born in 86. So He was playing like my mom. She used to take me to the games and all. She used to be out there when I was like 2 years old, like a baby.
Mm.
And they used to play. And my pops was like, it wasn't just one person tackling you. You got one guy, he gonna hit you, and he gonna hold you up, and about three more people gonna hit you before he drive your ass into the ground.
Oh yeah,
So
and I'm gonna tell you, back then a lot of people say, "Oh yeah, the football was no. They didn't really change the rules back then. They changed somewhat, but it was violent. I remember in the NFL, it was funny. I never forget this. It was the Giants, right? They played against somebody. It was early 80s. That's when long tails really started coming in on like the 84, 82. Yeah, George Mont hold him up, and Dawson came close like bop, like break him in half. I like, oh my